The economic freedom fighters, the EFF in the Northern Cape, have formally called for a review of Orania's status, urging that it be evaluated in line with the South African Constitution and applicable national legislation. The party argued that Orania, a predominantly Afrikaans enclave with an estimated population of 3,000, undermines national unity and continues to promote ideologies reminiscent of the apartheid-era. The EFF maintains that such a socio-political model stands in direct opposition to the constitutional principles of equality, inclusivity, and non-racialism, which are foundational to the democratic values of South Africa. In an interview with the SABC, EFF provincial chairperson Shadrack Kaule said the EFF was ready to challenge the area. Shadrack said that his party, the EFF, was raising a profound concern that needed both blacks and white. In his statement, he said, "We are taking our march and continuing with our march to the Premier's office, demanding what we have said and that we will continue to say." Check out this clip. Let us come back and discuss.
The Orania movement, together with the Freedom Front Plus, met with the EFF's provincial leadership. This after the EFF had vowed to push the provincial and national government to reconsider its position on the existence of Orania and that it should be discontinued. After lengthy discussions, the EFF said they did not find common ground.
The EFF is raising a profound fundamental issue that needs both black and white to speak to it, because they agree that there should be a generation that will engage and speak about their existence in order to make sure that we don't speak past each other. Secondly, we are taking our march, we are continuing with our march to the Premier's office.
The meeting ended in a stalemate. Both the EFF Plus and the Orania movement say more engagements are needed.
We didn't agree on everything, which one would have expected, but it's very good to hear the different perspective. I think we both learned from each other, and going forward, we are all together in the province and in the country.
Although the differences are still big and we are far apart, it does not exclude the possibility of formulating a position that in fact recognizes the logic of what Orania is doing as well as what the EFF is striving towards.
The EFF march is scheduled for the 22nd of this month.
My question still stands. They said they purchased the land to build Orania. Who did they buy this land from? Because I know it is not from the ANC. When the ANC came to power, they drafted a new constitution. New set of laws and policies were implemented. Policies that proved that the existence of Orania challenges the constitution. Doesn't that make this purchase null and void? Their very existence opposes the constitution. They are a threat to the country's future. We don't know if we are going to have an episode of Israel and Palestine soon or not. They function as an independent state. Who knows who they've been meeting outside South Africa's perimeters with sharks like Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Benjamin Netanyahu busy roaming around and, planting ideas that could destroy the Rainbow Nation values. It's very scary to have such to exist. As the political negotiations for a new dispensation took shape in 1993, the interim constitution was adopted. One of the main decisions taken was that post-apartheid South Africa would be a unitary state, not a federal state. The same view was sustained in the final constitution, which was adopted in 1996. However, while this decision was binding, something strange was allowed to happen, all in the name of reconciliation. Following the demise of apartheid in 1994, Karel Boshoff founded Orania in the Northern Cape. This place elected its Transitional Representative Council in 1995 and vowed to run its affairs like an independent state. For someone to qualify to live here, he or she has to meet certain requirements. Among them was that the individual had to be a white Afrikaner, be a Calvinist Christian, must not have a criminal record, and must only speak Afrikaans. Allowing this to happen was a bad decision. While it is true that such permission was granted in the name of reconciliation, the long-term consequences of this decision were never considered. Some of the requirements outlined above were unconstitutional. For example, while it is true that Section 15 of the Constitution protects people's right to exercise their religion, South Africa is defined as a secular state. This means that there is no state religion. Moreover, Section 30 of the Constitution states that everyone has the right to practice any culture and to use any language of their choice. However, the Constitution does not say that people of a particular religion or cultural group should live in a secluded place from other South Africans. The Constitution was misconstrued in that manner. What was worse with this decision was to allow the people of Orania to use their own flag, which is different from that of South Africa. Even the interpretation of the flag's colors is different from how colors in the South African flags are interpreted. Furthermore, the ora was allowed to be the currency used in Orania, not the South African rand, but the ora. This untenable situation was like a ticking time bomb that would explode at any time. Indeed, we are already seeing examples of how this practice has metamorphosed and has come back to haunt us. The Cape Independence Party, the CIP, which was formed in 2007, is emulating Orania. The party argues that the Cape Nation has a right to self-government. To advance this argument, the Cape Independence avers that the Constitution of South Africa guarantees the right to self-determination of any community sharing a common cultural and language heritage. Surely this is a wrong interpretation of what those who drafted the Constitution had in mind. If all language groups were to secede, South Africa would have not less than 11 nations or independent states. We'll have little 11 independent states around South Africa. Statements by political parties such as the DA, which insinuate that Cape Town would be better off if it were to govern itself, amplified the secession call made by the people of Orania. The DA's advert showing the South African flag being burned relates to this. During the apartheid period, Black people that spoke different languages had different cultures, had their own homeland system, different little states. So the apartheid government frowned upon and rejected this because it compartmentalized the South African nation by creating artificial independent states. It was for this reason that the new South Africa was envisioned as a unitary state which brought together all the so-called independent states or homelands. There were little homelands for different cultural groups and languages. Today, they want to reverse all of this. The apartheid forefathers wanted a united nation, and we structured the constitution based on that unity mindset they had. And today, they want to undo their forefathers' work. Aren't they delusional? We are dealing with psychopaths that forever move the goalpost because it does not suit their swag. The protest against Orania by the EFF will take place on the 22nd of April. Be there or be told. I wish I can station someone in the protest so they can give us a live feed or dissect to us the event as it happened so we can get a full picture or a clear understanding of what the EFF is hoping to achieve during the Orania Must Fall protest. I agree with it. I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So do you see when I say the white people will always find little holes in the constitution to try to suit themselves? Of course, the constitution of South Africa says, hey, we're a united nation. We are a united South Africa. There's no need to have a Tswana-speaking independent state, an Afrikaans-speaking independent state, a Sepedi-speaking independent state. They said no. It shouldn't happen like that when they drafted the constitution and which was adopted in 1996. But the white people are so slick. They found ways to poke holes into the constitution, to find ways to maneuver around the constitution so that it can suit their agendas. Guys, we are dealing with psychopaths. We are dealing with warmongering psychopaths. And you think all of this is a joke. I mean, back in the apartheid era, as I've mentioned, we had little independent states. The people in Northwest that speaks Tswana, they had a state called Puthabuchava. Yes, Putadichaba. I think people of Tswana will correct me in the comment section about Putadichaba, where it was ruled by a Tswana speaking man, and he has established his own education system, his own currency in Putabuchaba or Putabutswana. And it was like that. Even Venda had its own state as well, where the Venda chief governed the whole Venda. They had their own education system. It was a whole bordered country within South Africa. And the apartheid government is like, no, we're not going to have 11 different artificial states roaming around. Let us be one. And if anything, if anything, they had a vision. They had a vision for this country. They had a vision for the Rainbow Nation. They just didn't know it, but they had a vision for the Rainbow Nation. And today, the DA and the Cape Independence Party and Orania want to undo the work of their ancestors. So they are fine living in a united South Africa only when South Africans are oppressed. Am I getting it right? If black South Africans are not oppressed, they are not enslaved, there's no apartheid government to discriminate against them, then they don't want to share part of that unity. Am I getting it right? Am I reading it right? You can correct me in the comment section. I don't mind. Chat, I don't mind. What do you think about this segment? Comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss these groundbreaking conversations right here on the African Diaspora.